get our meeting called to order. It's good to see all of you on this rainy Monday afternoon. Hopefully that rain will wash some of this pollen away and maybe cool things off a little bit, and we'll have a fresh new start tomorrow and a beautiful day in South Georgia. I do want to let you know that we have agendas that are on the podium back here if you'd like to grab one so you can follow along. And I also like to remind people that this being the first meeting of this month, this is our workshop meeting, where we're not actually voting on most of the items on the agenda. It's discussion only. And then at our third Monday of the month meeting, that's when we will vote on the items that we've discussed this evening. So the only thing that we'll actually be voting on tonight is the agenda. So gentlemen, you have that agenda before you. Jessica sends that out to us in plenty of time to review. And I'll take a motion to either accept or make any changes to that agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion in 2 seconds to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That does carry. I'm going to veer just a little bit. I've asked a couple of people to come and give us some reports on some really exciting things that are happening in this community. So first I'm going to call on Hillary Culpepper, who's our Main Street Director. She's going to give us a brief update on the success of this weekend's opening of the Farmers Market. And then I'm going to call on Kezia Larry with the Tiff Theater for the Performing Arts to share some of the things going on with the Tiff Theater. So Hillary?
Yes, well, good evening, Mayor and Council. Like Mayor Smith said, I'm just here to kind of give a quick update about the Tifton Farmers Market. As you all know, the Tifton Farmers Market joined our downtown community back in the fall season, where we just kind of serve as a host location for them as they were looking for a new site. And they had such a great success in their fall season that they wanted to try their hand at doing a spring season here with us in downtown. And I'm just extremely elated to share that they had a wonderful grand opening this past Saturday. They probably estimated over 1,000 people in attendance within a 3-hour period. They had 28 vendors, 10 of their vendors sold out. It was a great success for them. And the owners of the farmers market, John and Randy Hickman, just asked, if I could just share just some gratitude to the city and to our downtown community for welcoming them as they brought in such a huge crowd. Our merchants, our restaurants, everybody was able to reap the benefit of that. So we're just looking forward to keeping them here, hopefully for many more seasons to come. But their spring season is every Saturday from the months of April to July, and then they'll take a break and come back in October and November. So we're just excited to have them. They had a lot of great vendors. Tiff County FFA, they were able to come out and have their plant sale. One vendor set up and they raised over $130 for our local soup kitchen here in our community. So it's just a lot of great community partners working hand in hand, and our downtown community is just extremely excited to be able to serve as that location for them.
That's wonderful news. Thank you
Yes,
for that.
thank
you
you.
for
We
bringing
appreciate
that.
that,
And
yes.
please express our appreciation to Randy and her husband for
Yes.
all that they do. It's really a nice addition to downtown Tifton.
Well,
so
thank
we greatly appreciate them too. Thank you. Kezia, I understand you had a busy weekend this past weekend too.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, y'all. Thank y'all for bringing me up, letting me take a little bit of your time. April 4th, we had Turn to Stone. It was a tribute to ELO. This band was actually from Ohio. This was their first time ever performing in Tifton, and it was a great turnout. We had about 160, and we had really good reviews. Saturday on the 5th, we had a comedy show. We had a few local comics, as well as a few from Macon and Jacksonville. We ended up with 200 in attendance, and that theater was buzzing with laughter. So that went very good, and it was very good to see that many people come out and enjoy themselves. We've got R&B night coming up on Friday the 11th from 7 to 10. This is with DJ Fun. He's a local DJ, does a lot of things around here and in Sylvester and surrounding counties. And then on Sunday, we have a pageant, Miss Georgia Pine. This is their 29th annual pageant under the direction of Miss Diane Dominy.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. And if anyone's interested in following along with what's going on in downtown and at the Tiff Theater, y'all both have Facebook pages
Yes,
and
ma'am.
social media pages, so they can search that and follow along. I know Hillary does a really neat e-newsletter that comes out, so if you're interested in that, reach out to Hillary at the Main Street Department. She can add you to that mailing list. I know your events are on her email list. So thank you very much for those updates.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate the hard work and doing such a good job for this community. Thank you both. Any comments, gentlemen, or questions? Anything coming up?
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
exactly.
Great
We're
job.
proud of you. Thank you. All right, moving along into new business, we have Ryland Environmental with us this evening. So I'm going to call on Aaron Sawa with Ryland to come out and, or come up and talk about the potential contract amendment and extension. And he's got his sidekick, John, with him as well. Thank you, John, for coming up.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having us this evening. We'd like to propose Amendment 4 change for contract renewal. That would begin July 1st, 2026 and end December of 31st of 2028. So that'd be a 3-year extension, flat rate of $18.02 per home and a $4.50 per cubic yard on front load commercial. There would also be a fuel surcharge in that. Anything above $5, a fuel surcharge will be added and then be removed as soon as that comes back down. So that's pretty much the gist of it.
All right, I know you've got the breakdown in the packet here. Is there any questions, gentlemen, you have of Aaron or of John? Okay, all right.
Wow.
Very good. Okay, well, you know where to find them. In the meantime, if you do think of something, they're always both very much available to us. So if you think of anything, which sometimes happens after the meeting, we can reach out to them, and I know they'll be glad to meet with us or answer those questions. So, okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. We appreciate you presenting
Thank you for
that.
having us.
All right, next I'm going to call on County Commissioner Melissa Hughes, and she's here to bring some news about an exciting event that happens in this community annually, and she has with her Mr. Garfield Rainey. Garfield, we were up here talking, how long did you work for the city with the Tifton Police Department?
30 plus.
30 plus? What year did you start? Do you remember? Roughly?
88.
18?
88.
I'm teasing, because I was telling Josh, it seems like I remember you being a police officer, like when I was like right out of high school or something. That was actually a little earlier than 88, but
I used to see
anyway.
you cruising the mall there.
Yeah, exactly, that was me. Exactly. Well, thank you for your service to the police department, and thank you now for your service to the community. So Melissa, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for giving us this opportunity to come and speak before you and let you know what's going on with Arts in Black. And we're hoping that you all will join us on the 2nd and 3rd of May. We are looking for a great event. We have already paid our fees for the event and hoping that the mayor would come and give us a welcome
Absolutely.
again, as she's done in the years past.
Wouldn't miss it.
And we hope to see all you guys. The festival is the oldest. Arts in Black is the oldest festival.
And how many years has that been going now? 20-something? Almost 30?
Yeah, we went past 25.
Yeah, we passed 25.
Yeah, good.
And over the years, it has dwindled. But Garfield and I and the members are trying our very best to make it big again. So we ask that the city will also join us and help promote it. We need that. We
Absolutely.
need you guys to spread the word for us. We were a little disappointed when we found out that the stage was not going to be there. But we do have a stage. We're just going to move to the other side. And hopefully, that when we come back next year, that it will be
worth the wait. Yes.
We'll be on a new stage.
Yes, you will be on the brand new stage. Absolutely, you will.
So we just want to say thank you for all that you all do for us, and just hope that you will help us promote it.
Absolutely. If you don't mind, if I want to make sure Hillary's got your information, and also Caroline Abbott in the kind of lavender colored dress. Caroline does all of our kind of marketing and everything. So those two ladies right there do a really good job of getting the word out and sharing and everything. So anything that you'd like to share with them, they can help you
Very
with that
good.
promotion.
There was one question. We understood from last year that we have to get the bleachers. And so if we can find out if there's going to be a charge for that, we would like to know.
How did we do that? I don't know how we did that. Are they out at the
Is
complex?
that included in the
event
permit?
So that whenever you request like very big trash cans, that's all included in that $100 charge. So it's $25 permit. The other $7.
Okay, very good.
So you got it? Okay.
We've taken care of all that.
Perfect, okay. All
Thank
right.
y'all very much.
Thank you, and thank you for the work that y'all put into this. It's very much appreciated, so thank you for that. Thank you, Hillary, for clarifying that, because I wasn't sure what we did. Next, we're going to talk about amendments to the city's flood ordinance. I'm going to call on our community development person, Loretta Hilton, and she's going to talk to us about FEMA and flood insurance and flood maps and all that stuff.
All the good stuff. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Every so often, 5 to 10 years, FEMA does a study in each community in the state of Georgia. They do it as a county as a whole, but sometimes some of your flood maps in the city will also change. Normally the ones that change within the city are ones that are taken out of that. A contractor or a resident may have filed a LOMA for a map amendment. And usually that's what happens in the city is someone will see that their property is barely in the flood zone, so they will file an amendment to FEMA, and then when they do the new maps, they will list that as not in the flood zone again. And normally the ones that are added to it are out in the county, or if the city has a significant flood event within that time frame, then they may add some of that property in it. But there was very few parcels that were taken out and added in the county as a whole. And part of being approved for this is you have to make sure that there are certain elements in the flood ordinance that had to be updated. DNR reviews it, and they ask for certain things. They wanted clarification on who was going to be enforcing it and be the administrator of it. And there's some grammatical things they want to change in it. And from time to time, they come up with different things that they want added to it. And that's all that this is. It's just an amendment to the local ordinance, and you have to amend it to be approved for the flood map changes. It will actually take effect in August 2025. We will be receiving the new flood maps. We do have some contractors that are waiting until then to pull building permits because the property has been taken out of the flood zone, and they don't want to go to the expense of building their lots up. So basically that's what this is. It's to amend the FEMA, the flood ordinance, and adopt the FEMA flood insurance study that was performed by FEMA.
Okay. Any questions?
Anything you want to add? Any questions?
If anyone wants to know if their property is in or not in the flood zone, can they contact you at
Yes,
Community
they can
Development?
contact me, and I
Okay.
can even give them the site where you can actually put in your address, and it'll show you on the map what
Okay.
panel you're listed under, what your flood zone is, and what that flood zone, say if it's a AE, what it stands for. So I'll be glad to help anybody. Just give me a call at Community Development, or you can reach me on my cell at 520-8660, and I'll be glad to help you.
Okay, all right, great, thank you. And
Thank you.
Loretta, that whole department is always very helpful anytime
We try to
we
be.
have questions
Thank
on
you.
zoning or flood or any of those kind of things, so thank you for that, Loretta. All right, next I'm going to call on our city clerk and interim deputy manager Jessica White to talk about expanding the city's enterprise zone.
Okay, this, now what I've put together is just a proposal. So I know Mayor Smith had asked that we look at extending that boundary. We adopted this new boundary. It used to be kind of downtown, been like that for about 20 years. And we adopted a new enterprise and opportunity zone, which is mainly Magnolia in the corridor of Highway 82 to downtown. And so we're just expanding it back down to the South Tipton redevelopment area, and I try to pick up those mainly commercial areas. So that's what's presented. So if y'all want to make any changes, expanding the zone would entitle properties that had significant investment to receive abatement on their building permits, property tax, business license. So people that do significant investments or businesses that locate there could qualify for those incentives.
Perfect. Okay, and that map is in your packet. You can see where the current zone is and then where the proposed expansion is. So, so just look at that, and if you have any questions, please feel free to share, or any advice or suggestions, and then we'll look at that again at the regular meeting and see what the council's preference is. All right, any questions of Jessica before we move on? Y'all good? Okay. Thank you, Jessica. Also, I'm going to let you go ahead and move right on to the next item. That's the proposed amendment to the city's alcohol ordinance for catering.
Okay. This is a staff recommendation for amending our current alcohol ordinance to provide a clearer guidance and limitations on alcohol catering and special event permits. These permits are meant to be temporary, one-time events, and not really a repeated use. So the proposed changes would establish a limit up to 6 special event permits annually per organization. And
Okay.
Rob has drafted the ordinance. We looked at this and discussed it at length, and we think this is the best way to try to curb, circumventing businesses getting a permanent alcohol license.
Okay.
Because the permits are supposed to be for events, one time, not every weekend.
Right, okay.
And
All
I
right.
think we've also discussed to have a limit of 3 days for the event.
Okay,
So up to 3 days would
Right.
be the extent of the event
right.
permit.
So an event like Arts and Black that has 2 days, it's still covered? Or, yeah, okay.
So that, Jesse and I discussed that just a little bit after I drafted this ordinance, so I'll revise that to add that
Okay.
3-day limitation.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, any questions of Rob or Jessica on that, on catering? All right, thank you, Jessica. All right, Rob, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the Board of Ethics, which is referenced in our city charter, and you've got the process of appointing the board, so I'll let you share
Right.
about that.
What we have established some time back, basically was a board of ethics, to basically enforce any ethical violations that may be, that it may occur among public officials, but we don't have the board formed. So basically, the ordinance provides for 5 members, 2 members being appointed by city council, 2 members being appointed by the Tifton Circuit, Bar Association, and 1 member appointed by the Superior Court judge. The qualifications of the members are kind of set forth in the ordinance, but basically you have to be a resident of the city of Tifton for at least a year, you have to be over 21, you can't commit a felony, so you can see those qualifications. But bottom line, city resident for over a year, over 21, and not be a felon. That's pretty much what it, and that your members cannot have any contractual relations, with the city, or have any rezoning requests, pending before the city.
Right.
So you can see those. So last week I did send an email to the president of our bar association requesting that we come up with a plan in which to get those 2 members appointed. And so we're working on that. I think there's going to be a meeting in May that perhaps we can get that done. I've also copied Bill Reinhardt, our Superior Court judge, about appointing 1 member as well. So for y'all, just be thinking about 2 members that you may, want to appoint, to the board, and then hopefully maybe by the 3rd week in May, we might have everybody lined up to get appointed. We can go ahead and get this taken care of.
Will they be required to go through any kind of training or
No.
process on what their role is or anything like that?
No, well, they're not required to. I don't
Okay.
see anything in our ordinance that talks about training.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think that when you're considering about who to appoint, you're just looking for people that, are good, upstanding, ethical, law-abiding citizens, who have just basic good walking around sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that the Bar Association may appoint a lawyer, or might appoint 2 lawyers. And I think that would be helpful, just kind of guiding people through the process and kind of what, what evidentiary standards that you might
Right.
want to think about as far as
Okay.
whether or not to find a violation. So bottom line is that I think I've got everything in the works to go ahead and get these members appointed. And so you all just might be thinking amongst yourselves about who you think might be appropriate to appoint to that board.
Okay, all right. Any questions, gentlemen? Okay, all right, thank you, Rob. All right, moving along, the next item on our agenda is our board report. Jessica, thank you for this comprehensive list of expiring 2025 board expiring terms. As you can see, we have several openings on Keep Tiff Beautiful. We have some terms that will be expiring on our Downtown Development Authority. And as in the past, Jessica or Morgan will contact these boards where they have members, existing members expiring, and ask if they would like to see them reappointed or if they want to step off and allow someone else, that kind of thing. So there'll be a recommendation coming from the board itself. We have several that are currently expired on the Tifton Tree Board. Have we heard anything from them on?
When I did
Okay.
this, I realized they were upcoming, so we'll get with them. So
Okay.
hopefully by the end of the month, we'll know if they want to serve.
Okay.
But if they don't, I don't
Yeah.
have any applications.
Okay.
I mean, they would probably be old.
Yeah,
I'd have to reach back out to an applicant.
okay. All right, then Tourism Association, that's not till the end of the year, fortunately. Library Board comes up middle of the year. Airport Authority is the end of the year. Historic Preservation Commission, Housing Authority. Have we heard anything from the Housing Authority? That term has expired. We need to reach out to them too.
No.
I'll call them. If you'll call the Tree Board, I'll call the Housing Authority. And then our Urban Redevelopment Authority, which MJ also serves on. So you can see those names there. So we need to reach out if anyone's interested in serving on any of these boards, but particularly right now, Keep Tiff Beautiful. We've got several terms to fill. You can just reach out to Jessica. That board does a lot of education as it comes to cleanup and recycling and different things like that. Beautification projects. I know they've done some things in the park. They do a litter pickup. It's a really interesting board that is comprised of appointees from the city and the county. And then, as I said, the Downtown Development Authority, the Tifton Tree Board, Tourism, Library, Airport, Historic Preservation, Housing Authority, and Urban Redevelopment. So we're always looking for residents to come in and help us serve the community and help us do the will of the community, and appreciate the work that our volunteers do with our local boards. Any questions, gentlemen, on those boards or any of the terms on those boards?
Just with the KTV, with board vacancies, how many other board members do they have currently?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's 13 or 14 people
It's
across the
a big
county.
board. Yeah.
Yeah, I know 2 of those were a husband and a wife, and they just moved. The other vacancies have been out there for a pretty good while. A lot of people, y'all have been very diligent if they're not a city resident to not appoint them, so that's a lot of what, I know last year I got 2 applications, but they were county residents,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
But I think they have some younger adults from UGA that are kind of getting connected, so maybe they'll want to come on in a more formal fashion.
Okay. All right. Do we know who the chair of that board is by chance? If we need to reach out to them too and see if they might have any recommendations.
I believe it's that Dr. Nikito, or is that?
No, that's the tree board.
Yeah, tree board, I think it's.
Oh, the tree board?
No.
No.
Keep Tiff Beautiful. Do we know?
I think it is Dr. Nikito.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, if we could just find out if they have anybody they'd like to recommend, or, if they can kind of put the word out amongst their
Yeah, I know
colleagues.
they've been trying to
Okay.
get people more involved.
Good,
So.
okay. All right, thank you. All right, any other questions on the board, gentlemen? Okay, Larry, your city manager report.
Well, our police department had a busy weekend. They were shots fired in 2 different locations in the city, and they responded, and they pursued one, and there was an arrest made, and the other one, I think they were both gang related, and they had another arrest of a group of young men and one of them was armed, and he was detained and charged. But there was a police pursuit on one of them, and one of the police cars was damaged. So busy weekend there. Fire department, they had 17 calls last week. One thing the fire department does, they do public service, for different things, and Bobby was mentioning that to me, and I just mentioned to him, well, why don't you catch Fullwood Park, the picnic tables and the benches over there, because they're looking kind of grungy, and man, he did it the next day and cleaned them up. So I appreciate them and their community service there. So they jumped right on it. Public Works, they're heading into the mowing season, so they're firing up the mowers, and they'll be busy mowing around town. The landfill, we had a bulldozer down, but it's back up and running, so keeping that going. On code enforcement, we lost our building inspector, but Dalton is going to step into that role, so we'll be looking for another code enforcement. But Dalton and Sparky will be doing training for the new code officer, so hopefully that'll work out good. As far as planning, we've got we've got Wawa and Murphy's coming to town. Now we've got another Chevron station coming to town. So gas stations must be popular.
Must be.
Coming to town. So let's see, projects, LMIG 2024, this week they'll be paving Birch, Walnut, Hickory, Hartley, Cypress, Park, and Magnolia. So they're moving along, getting all those streets paved. That's 7 more that will get paved this week. I think the total is like 15 miles of streets that we're paving with LMIG 2024, so we're moving along with that. Fullwood Park Stage, the contractor's working on the foundation there, so that's moving along. 18th Street, the TIA project, the contractor's been given notice to proceed, so they should be starting on those bridge replacements here shortly. The TCCCY building, we give them a 90-day notice that was required for them to, that we need them out of the building where we can make the necessary repairs there. We offered them a room at Anthony Bateman Youth Center, so they'll work good together. So I don't know if they'll accept that. They weren't too pleased with the room that we offered, so, but they're free to go find another place if they don't like the one we offer. So, but that's another thing we'll decide in the future, because I think the estimate's $165,000 to repair that building. So that's about what it's worth. So I don't know if we want to do that, but we'll make a decision, I guess, in 90 days when we look at it. The theater roof, we're waiting for it to stop raining where we can start working on the roof. So we need probably 3 or 4 days where it's not raining to get that done. The Agorama lift station, we had a pre-construction meeting on that, so hopefully we'll get started on that project. The 3 other ARPA projects, we're just waiting on pumps, pipe, blowers to come in where we can proceed on those. The lead service line inventory, ESG engineering is going to start back on that, and hopefully they can get that done by October, where we won't have to send out another letter to all the residents. So, so we need to get that done by October. We've applied for a FEMA grant for some generators, 2 portable and 2 fixed generators. Last year we applied for 5 generators, and we're still working through that process. So I'm not sure how long it'll take to work through these additional 4 generators, but that'll be a blessing to get those.
Yes,
for
after those hurricane events, we can
for all the
test
lift
it out.
stations and water and everything, just to keep those up and running if the power does go down.
Right.
Of course, y'all heard from Hillary on Main Street, and she's got a big weekend planned this coming week, pre-Easter festivities. So check that out. I think that's about it. Of course, y'all heard on the theater, there's a lot of things going on at the theater. So busy.
Amen, brother. All right. After mayor and council comments, we do need to go into executive session for legal purposes. And so if anyone has any comments, anything they'd like to share, you have the floor. Gentlemen?
I'm just looking forward to the Arts in Black in May. So
It's always a good event.
I think it's going to be a great event this year.
Amen. All right, anything else, gentlemen? Okay, I will need a motion to go into executive session for legal. Okay.
Second.
All right, so I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll take just a minute and then get our executive session meeting started.